You see a cat with a notched ear at the edge of the parking lot and think it got hurt in a fight. It didn't. That notch means someone already saved its life. Every year, millions of outdoor cats go through a process most people have never heard of. Trapped, put under anesthesia, altered, and set back down in the exact spot they were found. It sounds strange until you understand what's actually happening to that cat, physically and emotionally, from the moment the trapdoor closes to the moment it walks free again. Here are the 7 things that happen, in order, when a feral cat is fixed and released. This whole story starts with a stranger who didn't have to care. A neighbor who noticed the same thin cat showing up every evening. A person who could have looked away and instead started leaving out food. Then started asking around. Then decided this cat's life was worth the effort of changing. That kindness shows up first as patience. A humane trap gets left out, unset, near where the cat already eats. So the shape of it stops being scary, and the caregiver waits, sometimes for a week, letting the cat circle it and sniff it and decide on its own that it's safe. No one drags this cat anywhere. When the moment finally comes, the door closes gently while the cat is mid-bite, and it barely even registers what happened. Just one quiet act of someone choosing to show up for an animal that had no way of asking. Here's something people don't expect. The cat stays inside that same trap the whole way. The car ride, the vet's waiting room, surgery, recovery. It's never pulled out or handled. And the very first thing a caregiver does the moment the door clicks shut is drape a towel over the whole trap. It seems small, but it's an act of real gentleness. Covering the trap turns a frightening blur of motion and strange smells into a dark, quiet little den. The closest thing to comfort a scared animal can be given in that moment. Nobody is trying to prove anything to this cat or teach it to trust people yet. The only goal for now is to get it through the scariest hour of its life feeling as safe as a stranger can possibly make it feel. While the cat is under, the vet doesn't stop at the spay or neuter. In that same window, the cat gets a rabies vaccine, often protection against other common feline illnesses, treatment for fleas and ear mites, and a gentle check for anything old and hidden. A healed-over bite wound, a cracked tooth, the small injuries a colony cat learns to just live with because there's never been anyone to fix them. For most of these cats, this handful of unconscious hours is the only medical care they will ever receive in their entire lives. The only time anyone will ever look them over and try to make things better. Knowing that, vets and volunteers working these clinics tend to treat every single cat that comes through as if it's the only chance anyone will ever get to help it, because it usually is. And they show up for that again and again, for cats who will never know their names. That little clip people mistake for a scar from a fight is actually something closer to a medal. It's taken off the top of the left ear while the cat is still fully asleep from surgery. It never feels it happen, never remembers it happening. And what it means to anyone who understands it is this. Somebody already loved this cat enough to catch it, protect it, and set it free again. It's a permanent signal, visible from across a parking lot, that tells the next caregiver, the next volunteer, the next person with a kind idea and a trap in their trunk, this one's already been taken care of. Leave it be. In a world where a feral cat could easily go its whole life unnoticed, that small notch is proof that at least once it was seen. After surgery, the cat doesn't get sent straight back outside, groggy and confused. It rests in its trap, still covered in a calm, warm space, a caregiver's garage, a covered porch, a quiet corner of someone's home, for about a day. And for that whole day, someone is quietly keeping watch, checking that it's warm enough, checking that when the anesthesia wears off, it's interested in food and water again, breathing easy, healing the way it should. That person gets nothing out of this. No thanks, no recognition, often not even a grateful look from the cat itself, who's still too frightened to understand what just happened for it. They just sit nearby anyway, making sure a wild animal that owes them nothing gets one full day of being looked after before it goes back to a world that mostly doesn't. This is the part that surprises people most. The cat doesn't get shipped off to a shelter or put up for adoption. It goes back to the exact alley, the exact yard, the exact loading dock it came from, set down again in the same square foot it was trapped in, among the same cats it already knows. And that's the kindest choice available, not a missed opportunity. For a cat that's lived its whole life outdoors and never been touched by a person, being carried into a house is not a rescue, it's just a different kind of frightening. Its territory, its colony, its favorite sunny patch of gravel, That's already home in every way that matters to a cat who never asked for another one. TNR doesn't try to talk this cat into wanting a different life. It just makes the life it already has safer, healthier, and a little less hard. This is the part that makes all of it worth it. Caregivers who keep coming back to check on the same cats month after month, year after year, watch something genuinely beautiful happen. The roaming slows down. The fighting eases off. The coat that used to look thin and rough starts to fill back in, glossy and healthy, because the energy that used to go into surviving mating season and defending territory now just goes into living. One long-term colony study out of London found something even more moving. The cats grew more affectionate with each other after the whole colony was altered, spending their days resting in soft, sunlit piles, instead of holding tense distance and bracing for the next fight. So this one act, someone deciding a cat they'd never touch was still worth helping, doesn't just stop another litter of kittens from being born into hardship. It gives the cat already living that hardship a calmer, safer, gentler rest of its life. And it all started because one person looked at an animal nobody else was looking at and decided to help anyway. So the next time you spot a cat with a clipped ear, you're not looking at a survivor of a fight. You're looking at a cat somebody already fought for. Proof that a stranger's small act of kindness can quietly change the whole rest of an animal's life. If this made you feel a little better about people today, consider subscribing. It helps me keep making videos like this one. And to all of you doing the thankless act of kindness, thank you from the bottom of our hearts.